All right, welcome to our second episode of Unboxed, where we take your mortgage questions out of the box and we answer them. So we're excited to be here with you again, and I have a special guest with me today. This is Tanya, and she's part of our HR team. But really the reason we pulled her on was for some of her recent experiences, and that is she just sold her house and is in the process of buying a new house.
That's correct.
All right. And not only that, she's played various roles in the industry for some time. What were some of those roles that you played?
Yes, I actually bought my first house when I was 19 years old, so I go way back. I'm not going to tell you my age right now, but yeah, it's been a couple of years. Was able to flip that house for a good profit and built my first house when I was 22 years old. So I've been in dealing with real estate and mortgage for a while. Then later in life, I became a real estate appraiser for a few years.
Nice.
Kind of going to see the back end of things. Love remodeling houses. It's really important to me to figure out how to put the right changes in a house so you get the best bang for your buck, I guess. So recently, we have spent the last 4 years fixing up a house. Just had an offer on it, so we're in that process, and just made an offer this week on another house. So it's not boring.
Exciting.
It's not boring in
Not
my life
boring.
right now.
I should have you come to my house. And since you sold your house pretty quickly this time, right? You said?
The market's really hot right now. It took a little bit longer, but only for the fact we have an extremely unique French Tudor house that's kind of hidden in the woods. So
very nice,
yes,
secluded kind
it
of
is.
area.
When we bought the house 4 years ago, it had actually taken over a year to sell. So with the updates that we were able to do and the marketing and networking, it went pretty quick.
Yeah, wonderful. So what kind of helpful tips would you give someone looking to sell their home?
Just little updates actually can make a big difference. For me, having that background of real estate appraisal and knowing kind of what we're looking for on that end of things, it makes it easier to figure out, is this something that the next person's going to like? Maybe my favorite color is bright orange. Would I put a house bright orange? No, you're not going to put your living room orange. So just kind of figuring out little updates. When it comes to yard space, we actually did a lot of work on the patio, making an additional living space. Updating a 3-season room and just adding space to the house really helps a lot.
Definitely. That's awesome. Well, we have a few questions that are submitted ahead of time that aren't during the live event, but if you have any questions while we're live, feel free to ask them. I don't know if we'll get to them today, but shoot them this way, and we'll definitely address them on the blog post or next week on our Facebook Live. But one question submitted earlier was from Krista, and she says, my yard looks so blah right now, coming out of winter. I need to do something. What are some ways I could spruce up the outside of my home?
That's a really good question because we went through the same thing. The snow had just melted, the grass isn't green, the flowers haven't come up yet, those type of things. You can do little touches. I started out with putting a brightly colored decoration, a wreath on my front door to bring some color in. Updating mulch, those type of things are relatively cheap and you can do them already. It doesn't have to be a certain temperature to do those little fixes. Updated a porch swing, add a little bench here and there. Just make the most of what you've got at that point.
Definitely. Those are some great tips. Yeah. And Devin asked, do I need a realtor to buy a home?
You do not need a realtor to buy a home, but you'll save yourself a lot of stress by going through a professional. When I was younger, I thought, no, why would I waste that money? Live and learn.
Right.
Having the right professional is going to help you close the deal. And now that I'm on the buyer's end with my realtor, it's nice because she's scheduling the appraisal, she's scheduling inspections, she's making sure everything's on the up and up, and I can just enjoy what am I going to do to fix up this next house so I can sell it in a few years. So
yeah, definitely. So you say that you didn't have a realtor when you first bought
my
your
very
home?
first house, I did not.
What was that experience like then?
It was a little bit different when I first bought it because I was buying off a family.
Okay.
Do not recommend that. No,
It's
but
different for everyone.
It's different for everyone. No, but it went well. Then when I tried to flip it and sell it, I thought I can sell this on my own. So I really wasted some good marketing time by trying to do it myself and not really knowing what I'm doing at that point. They have connections that we don't necessarily have. So even though I may know the area and I know my house, they're going to be able to do some networking that just as a homeowner I can't do.
Sure, that makes sense. And what should people look for in a realtor? How do you choose the right one? There are a lot of realtors.
There are a lot of realtors, and there's a lot of really great realtors. For me, it was a little bit harder because I have some good friends that are realtors. So then how do you pick between your friends that are also realtors?
Definitely.
Honestly, when it came down to it, I visited the different sites that they have, and I checked out their marketing. I checked out their networking on Facebook and some of the different things that they did. I thought, okay, the realtor that I picked is very involved. She's got aerial photography. They had 360 videos that they could come in and do. So for me, when I was looking at the other listings that they had, I thought that's how I would like my house represented. So that was an easy decision for me.
Yeah, how important do you think photos are in the home selling process and buying?
They are extremely important. And I'm a photographer by hobby only, so I maybe am looking at different things, but in all honesty, the house that I bought, I almost didn't go see it because of the photos. Was not appealing to me. I think it made everything look a little bit smaller, a little bit more drab. Your focal points make a big difference. So when it comes to staging or marketing your house, you want focal points. If you've got something that's a great feature of your house, draw attention to it.
Yeah.
Every home, regardless of the age, has something that you don't want to draw attention to. So make sure that when you're taking your pictures, or if a realtor's taking your pictures, or if you're updating, adding color, adding decor, make sure that you're drawing the viewer's eye to the places you want them to see.
That makes sense. Great tips. Stephen asked, what should I be aware of when looking to buy a home? When looking at the homes to buy?
Looking at the homes? Yeah. I have a little bit different perspective. As a female, I would love to say I just go in and look at the colors, but I'm a little bit different. I'm looking at what's going to cost the most. Paint, wallpaper removal, those type of things are actually a pretty cheap, inexpensive fix. I think a lot of homeowners get kind of caught up on thinking, oh, this house is out of date and it needs a lot of work. When you're picking apart a house that you're looking at, and we all do, put dollar signs with it. If the roof's good, the windows are good, the foundation's good, those are your big fixes. Wallpaper, some flooring here and there, and not nearly as big of a deal. So don't limit yourself based on current decor.
Okay, yeah. I noticed that when I'm watching home buying shows and everything, even that they'll comment on furniture in the home.
Correct.
And they're like, oh, that's a bad couch. I'm like, you're not keeping the couch.
It does not come with the couch. I had a buyer that commented on my son's closet. I have a 14-year-old boy. That's as clean as it's ever been. That being said, you do want to declutter. You do want to get rid of things that you don't need. But if you're going in as a buyer, understand that people still live in that home. So you're not there to buy what's in their pantry. It doesn't come with that. So look at your bigger picture. Look at what's going to cost the most. Is the roof great? Do you like the layout? Those type of things are what really matters. Don't get hung up on, I really hate this color in this room. That's irrelevant.
Definitely. Now with that, if someone's looking at the bones of a house, but maybe it's a little outdated, what are some cheaper fixes that you could do in a home after you've bought it to kind of make it a little newer?
Absolutely. I'm very lucky on the house that I'm buying right now. It completely, it's in great condition. All the bones are really good. Little updates that I'm going to make because I personally can't go into a house and not make it my own. Just things like maybe a new countertop in the kitchen. I'm going to update the hardware in the kitchen, a new vanity in the bathroom. The floors are great, but little fixes. I do have my most expensive fix is going to be adding a window to open up a room. I think that's going to add some resale value. If you're going to be there long term, you don't have to worry about that resale value so much. For me, my goal is 4 years, and I'm at the lake. I'm somewhere where my kids are out of school, so I've got a 4-year plan coming into this house. I want to be comfortable there. I want to enjoy it, but I'm also trying to figure out what am I going to get a return on in my investment. If you have an older home that the whole market is selling for, say, those houses are selling for around $100,000, $150,000. You don't want to add $25,000 to that house and expect that now your house is going to be worth $175,000. That market for that area might not allow that. So just kind of keep in mind what the houses around you are selling for.
That's a great tip, and you can kind of look that up online, right?
You can. A lot of people are looking at Zillow and things like that. An appraiser is going to be your best bet. I know that's something that a lot of people are just going to go in and look at Zillow and say, hey, it says this house is worth this, and this is what the neighbors are doing. But it really depends on the current market. It can change. I can tell you right now, last time I did real estate appraisal was 4 years ago, and the prices in my town have changed tremendously. But they're also kind of at the high end right now, so it's a great market for sellers. Get your money out of it. But if you're looking at a house that's maybe for sale for $100,000 right now, just as an example, a couple years ago that house was worth $75,000. Don't put too much into that house, because the likelihood that it's going to be worth a ton more down the road is not likely.
Yeah.
So.
And we just saw that John joined. Welcome, John. Thanks for joining today. And Jeff shared the video. Thank you so much for doing that. We want to encourage you to share more while we're live today. Let your friends know that we're doing this, because it is exciting and we're answering a lot of really great questions. And you know what? Someone had asked about Zillow as well, and Jenna asked, Zillow said my home was worth $120,000, but when my appraisal was done, it was worth way less. Why is it that way?
Both Zillow and your tax assessments work on a grid system. So basically they're going to take your neighborhood and they're going to break it up into a grid, and then they're going to decide, okay, everything in this house, this neighborhood is worth approximately this amount per square foot. So it's an average. No one is coming from Zillow or from the tax office, hopefully, to really get a good eye on your house. It's just a guesstimate. So your best bet is going to a licensed real estate appraiser. They're going to come into your house. They're going to see the flow of your house. A house with a good flow is going to sell completely different than that same square footage house, that same location that's choppy and doesn't have that feel. Those are things that you're not going to get by looking at just an online guess. So.
Gotcha. Are there ways for people to prepare their home to get a better appraisal?
Absolutely. It's about space. As an appraiser, which I'm not anymore, but as an appraiser, we're looking for, again, the bones of the house. So I'm thankful I have that background of kind of look past the ugly wallpaper and see really, is this a good structure? Is this a good location? The neighbors matter when it's doing an appraisal. What is this house going to sell for? What is it likely to sell for? So at those times, clean up anything that you don't need. We're not looking to see if your house is clean. We're looking to see, is the drywall in good shape? Those type of things. So little fixes can make a difference. And we give overall ratings as well. So it's not like we're going to pick apart every room. We're going to say overall this house is in this condition. So you want to make sure that you're doing your best to have a good overall view of your home.
Yeah,
I wish there was a quick fix on that, but it's it's a little bit different for each situation. I think a lot of times if people would take out the emotion of I feel like this is worth a lot, and put yourself back to when you bought the house, and if you were going to be shopping again, what would you be looking for?
That's a great tip for sure. Would you say that your favorite part of home ownership is flipping then? Or the freedom that comes with home ownership?
Yes. I almost bought a house that needed a lot more work. My friends had to talk me down from the ledge because I like the projects, and it's kind of like having children. You think, I'm never going to do that again, and then you have more. But no, I've done tile work, I've done yard landscaping, I've done all kinds of things. So for me, I like the fact that I can see something that's not there yet and envision what it's going to look like and make that happen. Not everybody's like that, and that's okay. You kind of know where you are in that mix. If you love projects, make sure they're manageable. Learned that the hard way years ago. Some projects, that's going to be a weekend project. Yes, I'm on weekend 7 now. So,
Yes.
Talk to other people. One of the things with projects, there's always going to be hidden expenses. Always factor in the money that you haven't figured out yet, because there's going to be something for almost every project. So keep that in mind.
How much over would you factor than what you've budgeted for
It just really depends on the project. Okay. I've done a couple complete guts of bathrooms and things like that. There might be something where we don't need to replace the toilet, and then you get in and you're like, okay, yeah, we should probably spend $100 and replace the toilet. But different things happen like that. So just always budget a little bit over what you're expecting to have happen. And I will also say budget a little bit more time over. If you know you're somebody that doesn't like home remodel, keep that in mind. Is the house move-in ready for you, if that's where your comfort level is? Don't get yourself into a situation where you're not comfortable living in it and fixing it. If it's not something you enjoy doing, there's plenty of houses out there move-in ready. Price is going to be a little bit different, but that might be worth it to you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Tanya, for answering all these questions today. We're really happy you were on. Excuse me. Like I said, we'll be taking more questions in the coming week. Next Thursday at 2, we'll be back here again. Don't know who's going to be joining us, but it will be fun and you don't want to miss it. So check out that landing page, submit your questions ahead of time to make sure that they get answered during the show, and we'll see you next Thursday.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.